Welcome. I'm Rick McInnes, and I'm Vice Moderator-elect. And I'm going to start over. Welcome. I'm Rick McInnes, and I am Vice Moderator-elect, and I'm with Dan Wingard, who is one of the co-leaders for the Strategic Planning, Long-Range Planning, and Membership Committee. And we are both part of Countryside Stewardship Committee for 2014. And what we would like to do is go through the slides. We know there's a lot of people that haven't had the opportunity to attend one of the town halls, but certainly have a lot of questions and would like to know where some of the money is going and what we're looking at in terms of a budget for 2014. So Dan and I are going to go through the slides and kind of give you an overview as if you were in the town hall. So we want you to have a clear picture of where your gifts and your pledges are going, so you really truly understand how participation through stewardship helps our church and changes the lives of our community and its members. So I will go through and start. The Stewardship Committee is listed on the next slide here. Chris Hess is the chairman. She is on stewardship as well as trustees, Board of Trustees. The impact for Countryside Community Church is shown here. Our spiritual development and discipleship. These are the three pieces: the worship, the music, and the adult ed. Pretty clear. I think everybody knows this piece of it. Of course, we always have our children and our youth as a big portion and certainly one that we all value as part of membership at Countryside. We also have the wider community that we look at, small service groups. We have our church's wider mission, community cupboard, which has been very successful for the Omaha community, and a lot of other opportunities to not only participate, but be a recipient of Stephen Ministry, the care teams in the pastoral care area. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities, and this is one thing that we feel is critical as part of the Stewardship Committee. You know, we talk about the basket, the box, the list. There's a lot of list of things going on here at church, places to volunteer for, to attend, to participate in. And we need the pledges in order to continue what we're doing and even grow what we're doing into 2014. So I'm going to turn it over now to the next slide, which is the 2014 projected budget. And Dan's going to talk a little bit about where the money is going and kind of give you an overview of that area. Dan?
Great. Thanks, Rick. As you can see from the slide, we are projecting a 2000 budget of just shy of $1.4 million, and we broke it up into a number of categories, each one of which I'm going to briefly cover: spiritual development and discipleship, children and youth, our church property, what we do for each other, our members and our friends of the church, and then the wider committee. Let's start with spiritual development and discipleship. This consists of our commitment to worship, music, small groups, adult ed. As you can see, a fairly substantial portion of the budget at about 26%. This includes the worship services, the music that supports and enhances our music services, as well as the small groups, which should become such a critical part of our fellowship, our spirituality, and how we're devoted to each other. And of course, our adult Christian education, with the Center of Faith Studies and other things that we're doing, has become such a well-known facet of Countryside Church in our community and beyond. Next is our commitment to children and youth, and as a parent who's had two children go through Koyo and Faith Singers, and one who's in it, I can tell you what a critical part of our church this is. I mean, this is the foundation for our future. If we're not doing everything that we can to nurture and develop our children and our youth, that there is no church in the future. So this portion of the budget at about $254,000 encompasses our youth ministry, confirmation, choir, children's choirs, Sunday school, our Wednesday night of live, which we've recently revitalized and had been such an integral part of Countryside previously, as well as our vacation Bible school. The largest portion of the budget, as you might expect, is devoted to the church property and finances. This includes the building property and maintenance, repairs, utilities and property insurance, the church office administration, custodial staff, communication, marketing, IT, audiovisual, etc. And in particular, this is an area where we have deferred a lot of maintenance and, as the saying goes, kind of kicked the can down the road and avoided some kind of key costs over the years. And as the old saying goes, the chickens are coming home a little bit to roost on this one. This is something in some areas where we really need to address the physical needs of this wonderful facility that we have. And if we don't do it, we're going to become it's going to become a very large issue. So this is an area that we've devoted a lot of attention to in this upcoming budget. And then, the wider community, our commitment to each other and our friends. This includes our life ministries, our volunteers, events, education, and connections. Things like the community cupboard, other things that we do in the community. While those are primarily volunteer services, it does take church staff to help organize, commit, and work through those things. And of course, our pastoral care area, Stephen Ministries, care teams, and our Agape Circle. Finally, our commitment to the wider community, our commitment to our church's wider mission. Countryside is actually one of the larger congregational denominations in the UCC, and as such, we are called upon to provide our efforts and resources into the wider UCC. We were, bringing both Chris and Eric into our family was accomplished through the UCC's offices and the things that they have set up, and our support of those activities is a critical component of what we do. So if you kind of move to the bottom line, we have a projected budget in 2014, again, of just shy of $1.4 million. Based on our anticipated revenue, we're looking at about $1.2 million. You can do the math as well as I can. You can see that leaves us about $167,000 short in terms of what we need as an increase in 2014 in member revenue in order to continue providing the level services and maintaining these facilities as we are today. As I mentioned a little bit earlier in some of our slides, why are we seeing some of these increases? Well, I said before in talking about some of our needs for facilities that we've deferred, we've also seen increases over the last couple of years of about 5 to 8% respectively to our operating expenses. What we pay in taxes, what we pay in insurance, what we pay in maintaining the facilities. These things have all increased while at a clip of about 5 to 8%, whereas our increase in anticipated member has been only an increase of about 3%. This is what's kind of led to this gap that we're talking to you about. Also in 2013, we used $43,000 from our reserves to help balance the budget. This is not a practice that we want to continue. We were fortunate here also in 2013 to have a very good market year. That is not something that we can count on every year. We've all seen those years when they're down. All of this comes to kind of a summation of needing a 14% increase in revenue to continue meeting the operating expenses increases that we've had and allowing for a very modest growth to the programs that we have, cover the building repairs that I've discussed, and not to borrow from the reserves. Unlike our federal government, we do not deficit spend. If we do not have the money, we don't spend it.
I'm going to give you a little overview in terms of the specific increases that Dan spoke about here on the next slide. Our commitment to spiritual development and discipleship. Adult education, Christian education is about $9,000. This is for the Ministry of Lay ministry that Bruce Van Blair will be doing. Also, music ministries, there's a $12,400 increase for musicians at both classical, holidays, and concerts, new anthems, and of course, unfortunately, but needs to be incorporated, a new organist after the retirement of Diane Hill later this month. Children and youth. Children education is a little over $3,000 increased. They want to be able to grow the children's programming, Wednesday Night Alive, and Vacation Bible School. Youth ministry is about $2,500. They want to grow the youth programming like Koyo and support some of the mission trips to help cut some of the costs. And, of course, hiring a new youth ministries director. Children and youth music alone will be about a little over $3,000, about $3,200 to support preteen and faith singer mission trips. Our church property that Dan talked about and the finances of the church, from an administration standpoint, about $7,900 increase for 2014. Costs for services, phone, internet, also replacing old equipment. We have old postage meter. I mean, these sound small, but they add up quickly. Desktop computers, internet firewalls, audiovisual equipment, and so forth. Building property is a big chunk. The increase there is about $30,000. And the reason for this is that we haven't really allotted enough money to handle some of the major expenses. And if an air conditioner goes out, bingo, we've got to put out some money. So we need to have some money in that piece of the budget to be able to assist in the programming. Increase other issues like a failing ACU air conditioning unit. Also, concrete repairs outside, roof repairs, door repairs. It looks like it could be about $175,000 building repairs just needed over the next couple years. Increases in services and utilities, like Dan said, those always go up. Everything from OPPD to MUD to the lawn care, snow plowing, and so forth. Also, insurance. Everyone knows that. Heating and cooling system maintenance, security services, fire alarm. And so there does need to be some money set aside so that we don't have to go back out and ask for money in this case. Each other minimal increase due to supporting from a lot of the volunteers. So I think our members and friends of the church, that aspect is about even. The wider community, about a $5,000 increase. The idea is to grow some of the small service groups, the SSG program. And then the next slide, personnel budget. 12 to 19% increases in benefits for 2014, health, dental, insurance, benefit costs. And I think everybody is seeing that with either where they work or through whatever insurance program they might have. Also, this includes a 1.5% raise for staff salary. They have had only 3 raises in the last 5 years, which is equivalent to 1.5% per year, which is really not even to the cost of living. So we really think that they deserve an increase, and we would like to give them that. And depending on how the budget and the pledging goes, whether some of the stuff has to be cut or can be increased. So pledging. So why ask God? Why commit? I think we all have to look at this in our own way. Financial commitments of all kinds, and especially at the church, deepen our faith commitment. I know that tithing has been talked as a biblical practice, but our goal from a stewardship committee is to make sure that everyone participates, no matter at what level, so that no one's left out and everybody has a contribution in terms of their financial giving to the church, so that we can continue the lists of activities and programs that this church provides, not only the members of this church, but the community and again, going back to our youth, we want to establish a great foundation for those young individuals of our church that grow up here. And so we have seen in the last 3 years, pledges have been down in terms of the church's anticipated needs. And that's one of the reasons we have come to you today to share with you where some of the specifics are in terms of pledging. Just to give you a couple ideas of what it costs for certain things. Electricity, for instance, $36,511. Postage, $10,847. Paper towels, you don't think of that, but $5,748. These are just a few of the items that are incorporated. And when you look at again at the insurance and affordability to be covered is quite a job. That's $24,500 just alone for insurance. So sometimes it's mind-boggling just to see how much stuff costs and how much it really takes to run an organization like Countryside. And I'm not sure everybody really thinks about it, but we want to make sure from a stewardship perspective that everyone is understanding of where their pledges are going, how we're managing that with the church. So Dan's going to talk a little bit here more to end this with the pledge history.
One thing we'd like to touch on a little bit is what is required to operate the church. Just like your own family, household, or your business, you can't manage the finances of the church unless you understand what income that you have coming in. You couldn't do your personal budget if you had no idea what kind of income you have coming in, nor could you run a business similarly. One of the historical challenges that we had, and we're reaching out to ask you to help us with this, is that generally we found that about 53% of our active membership make a pledge, which leaves about 47% who don't. And, certainly we understand that there are financial situations. I have good friends in this church who are in those kind of situations where they need to rely on the church and are in a position where they can't help out as much as they'd like. But overall, if you look at just shy of half the people in our church not pledging, that becomes a very challenging matter in terms of us being able to effectively manage and be good stewards of your money. So we're really encouraging and reaching out to those that perhaps have donated to the church but haven't made it into a pledge, to turn it into a pledge, even if it's just a dollar or something nominal, so that we can track and manage our finances and do a good job of being stewards of your money. Finally, as Rick has touched on a little bit before, we're prayerfully asking you to consider pledging. If you haven't before, please pledge for the first time, or if you can, based on if you're one that is in a position to perhaps do a little bit more, whereas some that aren't able to do so, to look at increasing your pledge as we've outlined. And we're asking you to please do that by Sunday, November 10th. That's the time that we've put as a stop of our formal stewardship campaign, at which time we will assess where we stand and take the appropriate actions as we move forward, and to ultimately presenting a budget to you in our annual meeting, generally in January or February of next year. So please, Sunday, November 10th, make your commitment to this ongoing wonderful church that we have today.
And we want to thank you for going through this with us. And certainly, if you have any questions, please address anyone on the stewardship committee. The names again are listed in the second or third slide, I believe, that we went through. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have, and making sure that you understand that any issues and concerns, so that you can, like Dan said, prayerfully consider pledging for 2014. Thanks again.
Thank you.